James ran an all-night gas station in the small town of Sparta, Tennessee, on a dark, deserted stretch of highway. This is the sole bright source of light. For the most part, it was a mundane job that involved stacking soda cans, counting cigarettes, and selling petrol to weary truck drivers. Up until that crucial evening, it was a Friday, one of those end-of-the-world evenings when the wind howled like an animal and the sky was an unsettling mixture of black and purple. I was alone myself, listening to a buzzing old radio that spat out vintage rock songs with a tinny echo as my only company. The pickup truck arrived at that point. It coughed and spluttered when it stopped beside the pumps, covered in dust and mud. For the man who left the truck as rugged as the car he was driving, he appeared. His eyes were bloodshot and wild, and his clothes were tattered and stained. But what really made my skin tingle was the look he gave me. A look of fear and paranoia. "Sir, can I assist you?" I questioned, attempting to sound as normal as I could. In answer, the man simply grunted while hurling a few tattered bills across the counter. He said, rasping, "Fill up," with a voice that sounded like sandpaper. Unable to shake the unease that had descended upon me, I nodded. I spotted the quiet television we keep for late-night news as I walked back to the counter. The TV displayed a breaking news banner, and a far too familiar visage peered back at me. Her, in fact, the pickup truck's driver, the man who was filling up his truck outside my petrol station at the time. "Serial killer on the loose, vivid and dangerous" was the headline. My heart started to drop. For one, my blood pressure shot up, and my palms started to perspire. There I was, stranded in a petrol station with a wanted murderer, all by myself. Fear began to set in. The man's eyes were hardy and impossible to read as he simply glared at me. He took something gleaming out of his pocket as he reached into it. Heart stopping. It was a knife, and the sharp neon light from the store's neon sign caught the blade. He hissed, his voice low and menacing. "I need you to forget you ever saw me." Ivy's face was dripping blood, and I could feel it. I was aware that I was in serious trouble. The most unexpected feelings and thoughts emerge in the presence of such uncomfortable danger. It was a strange calm in my case, a resigned acceptance that I was in a terrible circumstance and needed to find a solution. I responded with a forced "sure thing sir" nod. "Just another night, I hear." "Merely another client." The man was startled to see a pair of headlights suddenly illuminate the building's exterior. Police were involved. The man's face took on a panicked expression as the police car approached. His mind was obviously racing as he cast a quick glance my way while maintaining a grip on the knife. Two police officers entered the petrol station once the door of the establishment opened. One of them, a tall woman with a serious expression, moved closer to us. She greeted the men, "Evening, gentlemen," with a commanding tone in her voice. There was a call. Something concerning a suspect person. The man quickly tucked the knife behind his back as he turned to face them. It was too late, though. It was already visible to the second officer. He yelled, warning, and quickly reached for his sidearm. The man leapt in my direction, but a gunshot's stern-sounding crack reverberated around the petrol station before he could come any closer. I felt an overwhelming sense of relief as the man collapsed to the ground. I was secure. The police had shown up on schedule. My life was forever altered that evening at the petrol station. A work that was previously calm and routine turned into a continual reminder of the horror I had gone through. However, I find comfort in the knowledge that I made a difference by aiding in the capture of a serial killer. This is my true scary story, so bear with me. Just a friendly reminder that you never know who might stop by your life, or in my case, your petrol station in the middle of the night. So, remember to stay aware. A desolate highway stretches out into the darkness, with only a few dimly lit streetlights illuminating the empty road. It was a dark and stormy night, like something out of a horror movie. Dramatic rain is seen pouring heavily on a car windshield. Thunder can be heard rumbling ominously in the background. I was driving late at night, trying to reach my destination before the storm hit its peak. A shaky sign with the words "Desolation Gas Station" looms over a deserted gas station. Barely standing against the harsh winds, the rain poured relentlessly as I spotted a lone gas station in the distance. Desperate for shelter, I poured into the station. The gas station interior appears eerie and run down. Flickering lights reveal old advertisements and a dusty counter. As I stepped out of the car, I noticed an odd silence hanging in the air. The hairs on the back of my neck stood on end. I approached the counter. A creepy, yet oddly charismatic gas station attendant stands behind it, seemingly lost in thought. Stormy nights like these bring out the strangest events. "You should be careful." His words sent a shiver down my spine. but I shook off the unease and continued to ask for gas. My instincts told me to leave, but curiosity got the better of me, and so I pressed onward. I tried to pump gas into my car, but wasn't working, casting uneasy glances around, feeling an inexplicable presence surrounding me. Back inside, the gas station attendant pauses, seemingly lost for words, staring into the distance. Suddenly, he snaps back to reality. Leave. You must leave now. They're coming. Distant eerie sounds echo through the air, heightening the tension. I quickly hop into my car and speed away from the gas station with the gauge on empty. The rain continues pouring relentlessly as the storm intensifies. I couldn't shake off the feeling that danger was still lurking behind me, somewhere in the darkness. I spot an abandoned house on the side of the road and quickly pull up, seeking refuge from the mysterious threat. I enter the house, which is dimly lit and filled with cobwebs. The sound of creaking floorboards adds to the eerie ambience. I found myself locked inside an unsettling place, but it was my only chance to survive the storm. I explore the house with trepidation, checking each room for any signs of life. I slowly descend down a rickety staircase into the eerie basement, where a single, flickering light illuminates the space. What could be lurking down here in the darkness? A sudden, bone-chilling scream pierces the air, reverberating through the basement. I must find a way out of here. I burst out of the house, sprinting as fast as I can through the pouring rain, desperate to escape the terror that lurks behind me. I ran for what felt like an eternity, trying to outrun the unknown terrors that haunted me that night. Finally, I reach the highway, where the rain begins to subside. A sigh of relief washes over me as I know that I am safe, and that, my friends, is the true story of my haunting encounter at the gas station in the middle of nowhere.